Okay, here we go with my look at the Cobra Techno-Viper. I'm going to get started here first of all, and we'll do the character bio. So I got the little file card here for the Techno-Viper, and I'll go ahead and just read this off here to you. It says codename Techno-Viper, Cobra Battlefield Technician. Modern battles involve expensive, complicated machines, and it is inevitable that these machines sustain enemy-inflicted damage, succumb to driver error, or simply break down of their own accord. It is the mission of the Techno-Vipers to provide field maintenance support and combat engineering capability to the frontline Cobra troops. Techno-Vipers can repair HISS tanks, build bridges, and retrieve large heavy machines from seemingly inaccessible places. Just because the Techno-Vipers carry wrenches and jacks, don't underestimate them. They work their way up from the ranks of Vipers, and each one is a qualified Cobra infantryman. They also function as sappers and are always called on as the first wave in assaulting a heavily fortified position. So yeah, as you can see there, going by what is listed here on the file card, these guys are basically, you know, like battlefield repairmen or like mechanics for the Cobra Army or the Viper Squad or whatever. So let's get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and pan in here and take a look at the detail of this figure. I really like this guy. I think the main thing I like about this figure is the color scheme. I think it's really nice. I like the dark purple with the sort of lighter kind of like lavenderish purple and the silver trim and black trim. I think it really looks nice. It kind of sets him apart from some of the other Cobra figures. He does come with quite a few bit of accessories here, and we'll take a look at those in a minute, but let's just kind of look at the detail of the figure here. Let me grab him here. Yeah, you can see there he's got the nice like silver Cobra emblem there on his chest plate. He's got a few little hoses here, some coming off of here on his wrists, I think on either wrist, yeah. Got the black gloves. He's got a little gun here sculpted in on his left thigh there, right there. Of course that's not removable, it's just sculpted into the plastic. And the legs are just kind of plain. Nothing really detailed on there other than just the paint apps. Let's pan down a little bit and look at those. So yeah, pretty plain. Kind of typical too of you know, the G.I. Joe level of detail that you had there in the late 80s or mid 80s. Let's take a look at his weapons here in a bit, and let's just take a look here at the back real quick. And here you can see his backpack with his repair equipment and stuff. And as far as the accessories go, let's get into that. And let's just pan out here a bit. Alright, first of all, he's got this little like laser cannon here, or laser rifle. Let me take him off of his little stand here. And I really like this gun. I like the shape of it and just the way it's sculpted. I think it looks very unique. It's very cool looking. I like it. It's futuristic. It looks like a laser weapon or laser blaster of some kind. I don't believe they talked about what it actually is. It obviously doesn't look like it's any kind of a repair tool, so I'm assuming it's a weapon, you know, again, some kind of a laser blaster of some kind. But yeah, I really like it. I like the kind of funky looking scope here and the kind of flat head barrel that it's got here. He did come with these hoses here. Again, as I've mentioned on some of my other G.I. Joe reviews, at least with the vintage figures, I was not a fan of these hoses, and usually I just take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop that off here. I always think that they kind of just get in the way and kind of, you know, just hamper the posability of the figure. This hose does make a little bit of sense considering he's got these wrenches and tools back here on his backpack, and you know, one would assume that these are like pneumatic, so this might be some kind of an air hose to drive these tools and wrenches here. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of take this off anyways and get it out of the way. Again, I never really felt these were totally necessary for the G.I. Joe figures at the time. Let's take a look here, a little close up at his backpack. It's got pretty nice level of detail on it. There's a little bit of dust here on this guy. He's got the two air tanks here, it looks like. So again, yeah, I think these are supposed to be like pneumatically operated. Although the one tank that's coming off of here for his rifle, I'm not sure what that's for, considering it looks like a laser blaster of some kind. So I'm assuming, again, it's not a tool. But yeah, it's pretty well detailed, and it does hold the little tools here. And speaking of the tools, let's go ahead and pop those out and just take a look at each one of these up close. In some ways, this figure kind of reminds me of the Bat, the Battle Android Trooper. If you're familiar with that at all, it had the 3 attachments that you could pop onto his hand. Let's see, I'm trying to get this last one out, and it's being a pain. There it goes. Alright, well, we'll start with that one. This one here looks like some kind of a hammer of some kind. It's got, you know, a pretty nice level of detail sculpted in onto it. You know, it's not just a plain, you know, piece of silver plastic, you know. So they did a pretty nice job with these tools, I think. He's got another one here, looks like a wrench or some kind of a gripper of some kind. This one's not quite as detailed as the other one. And then his last tool here is, again, some kind of a wrench or claw. So yeah. And again, those all store in here in his backpack. So you can take a look at that there. They just slide in there. And then it just pegs in on the back. And he can hold all these. Let's pan out just a bit. So they got these little flat parts in here at the end. And you can just sort of slide those in here, I think, on either one of his hands. The plastic here is a little bit thicker, so it's kind of a pain. There it goes. But yeah, so you know, he could hold his little tools, you know, one in each hand, or he could have one in each hand, or just, you know, hold his gun here like I got it in one tool. So yeah, I like the tools. I thought it was kind of a cool concept. You know, he's the battlefield repair guy or technician or whatever it is. Let's go ahead and pop these back in here. And these, again, just slide in. Some of these fit in there a little bit looser than others, so you might have to be a little careful with that. They tend to kind of want to slide out there. I may not have it in all the way, but whatever. And then yeah, just, you know, it pegs in on his back. There's his back without the backpack. So let's just pop that back in. And this one keeps sliding out there. Actually, let's take this one out and see if I can slide it in the other way. See if that holds it. Yeah, that holds it a little bit better. But yeah, as far as articulation goes on this, again, it's the standard, you know, 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe figure level of articulation. So the head's on a little ball joint, rotate around the shoulders 360, can pivot at the shoulder up and down, rotate at the elbow and bend in and out at the elbow. The wrists don't move. The waist is on the little rubber O-ring that can pivot around and rotate around. Legs can pivot around, sort of a ball joint, and you can bend at the knees, and no articulation at the feet or ankles. So, closing thoughts on this guy. I think it's a cool looking figure. Again, I really like the paint scheme or the coloring of this guy. I think it looks really cool. I always kind of like the darker colored, kind of purplish style figures. Same thing with Transformers. You know, one of the reasons why I always like the Decepticons, they always kind of had the better looking coloring. So yeah, he's got the cool color scheme going there. I like his weapons, or his weapon, I should say. It's pretty futuristic looking. And let's just kind of prop this guy up here like that. I like the tools. You know, he's got a pretty good amount of accessories. These hoses here, you know, it comes with this if you can find them complete. I really don't bother with these, so, you know, if you can get them complete with the hoses, it's a plus. If not, it's not the end of the world. But at least try to get this guy, if you are trying to get this guy, with the rifle, the backpack, and his accessories there. And the foot stand's always nice, and the file cart's nice too. But yeah, I would say get this guy if you can find him. It should be fairly cheap to get this guy. It's not one of the more popular characters, I would say. But I like it. I think it's a cool guy to have for your Cobra troops. or just your overall vintage G.I. Joe collection. So that's pretty much my take on the vintage Cobra Techno-Viper.